Hey guys, how's it going? Orange here. Welcome to the first round of the 2015 Formula SimRacing PRO series. We're starting here at the end of the pit lane with a nice camera shot of cars exiting in the pit lane as the first qualifying session for the 2015 PRO series is underway then. So FSR returns and so do I with pretty much the same conditions as last year. I have chosen to go again with GhostSpeed Racing. And here we are about to see the livery. So that is the livery for this year. You will notice that on the side of my car it says Journey, which is officially the car for Journey Simoncic, who is our World Championship driver. But unfortunately we had a little bit of issues with the liveries for Ace and Pro, meaning we have to use the liveries from the World Championship for the first two rounds, I think, in the Ace and Pro series as well. But it's not too bad, we can deal with that obviously. And then from round 3 onwards I think I will have my own helmet again back. And my own livery then, but it will obviously, I think we'll only have the different naming then on the side, and that is pretty much it. Anyway, Q1 is underway then. So well, this is the same format as last year. Need to get a good lap in. We get 10 minutes in this Q1 session, unlimited laps and free choice of setup. So we're right now coming through here. And there's a little bit of traffic up front. It's always so busy at the exit of the pit lane in Q1. I usually try to avoid that. I don't really want to be bunched up in that big queue waiting for the light to go green. I usually wait a couple of seconds after the light went green and then I go out. But even that doesn't give me a free or clean track in front of me. As you can see here, there's no clean air in front of me. I have to back out here because everyone is just going to queue up and leave a little bit of space in front of them, a little bit of fresh and clean air in front of them before they start their lap, and so do we. But a little bit about this track then. Obviously in Formula 1 it's also used as the opening race of the season, and so is it in FSR this year. Last year it was Bahrain, but this time it is Australia. And as you can remember from Australia last year, we are going to start our qualifying lap. The DRS is wide open, 2 DRSs around this track, both in sector 1. Anyway, starting the lap right now, and hopefully setting a good benchmark. But what I was going to say is that we started off with Bahrain last year. This year, well, we don't. And if you remember from last year as well, around this track, we had an absolute stunner of a race here with the battle for the lead going down the drain, even in the final lap. If you haven't watched the race from last year around this track, I think it was round 14 or something like that. I really do, or 14. Wait, there were no 14 rounds. Round 11, 10, 9, perhaps something around there. Yeah, I think about round 10 or something like that. And there really were some epic battles in there. And the battle for the lead went down the drain until the last lap of the race, where I eventually lost it in the first corner. But it was such a good race, and you know, I had such a great feeling left from that race as well. Coming into this race, I was like, you know, I want to win this now. You know, I was so close last year, and I have been battling, you know, trying to get a victory last season, but I couldn't get a single victory. I got a few pole positions, I think, but not a single victory. And I have been working incredibly hard over the winter in you know, trying to get my race consistency up. You know, my struggles always were not the pace. The pace was usually good. As I said, the first lap time there, 22.1, puts me up in first place. And I actually had like a 4/10 gap to the rest of the field. So I was pretty confident here, and then went out once again. I think you can do 3 runs in total in Q1 if you hurry up, but you know, I wanted to do 2. This is right now skipping towards the end of the session as we see a car crashing there. Holy cow, that was insane. We'll have a quick look at the replay here. It was actually a car which crashed off on the exit of turn 13 or 12 it is. And look at this then, I approached him with, well, what is it, 240 kph, probably something like that. It almost looks like I went underneath him as he was lifted up in the air again and just, well, flipping over. Here we see one more shot. And there we go. There was also a little bit of debris from his front wing end plate, but nonetheless, coming back then onto the story I was talking about. I have been working so hard on the race. You know, last year I was, with hindsight, you know, I now saw as we started our second qualifying lap, I noticed that at the start of this year, I noticed that I was just doing way too much hot lapping last year. You know, I was so much focused on quali, but it is so much better to focus on the race, and that is really what I have done. I have done so many race stints and do it all over again, and not really to also obviously also to be, you know, consistent in the race and have a nice setup for the race, so it gives some kind of confidence, but mainly to get that consistency up, because boy was I inconsistent last year. I always, you know, pushed too hard, and I didn't know that at that time. I only knew it because I practiced it over the winter. I saw that I just pushed too hard usually in the races, destroying my tires and making the chance of a mistake thanks to that, you know, much bigger and much higher, as we just flew through that chicane there. And you know, thanks to that practice over the winter, I was now so confident for the race here. I really was confident. The qualifying, yes, I was confident, but I know that the points are given in the race, and the race was really where I practiced quite hard on. Also qualifying, of course, don't get me wrong, because the race only is not key, definitely not. You also need to do some hot lapping. So we crossed the line there. Improving our lap time or not? Yes, we do improve our lap time, 121.9, so dipping into the 121s. And that puts me in first place in this Q1 session. I think there was a Polish guy, Nicodem, who was behind me. I think he did like a 22.1, or did he also do a 0.9? I'm not even sure anymore. Anyway, this is Q2. Same format as well as last year. I'll do a quick and brief explanation of Q2. In Q2 you get 5 minutes of time to set one lap time. So you get only one lap. If you mess the lap up, it's over, you know. You start 10th and that's it. So you need to set a good lap time here. Only the top 10 from Q1 is allowed to qualify in Q2. And this is also parked for May. So the setup rerun right now. Also, well, we need to use that one in the race. Same for the tire. Anyway, enough talking about that race thing. You know, I think you get my point. I've just really practiced on that, mainly on the consistency, as I said before, and was able to set consistent lap times right now. It was so consistent, I was even surprised by myself. To be fair, as we switch to the onboard gameplay, I even believe that I have changed my driving style. I went from aggressive to accurate, I think. I really do think that. It's not as aggressive anymore, it's just a little bit more accurate, you know, coming closer to the apexes, maybe not pushing as hard, but keeping the tire safe, keeping it consistent, and it gives quite a bit of an advantage usually towards the end of your stint as well. And one more time, I didn't notice this during the last season. I only noticed it in the winter when I actually, you know, practiced on it. Anyway, it's enough. Q2 is on the way. I've already started my lap, breaking out on 100 meter board here. I'm sorry for the very long intro, but obviously at the start of a season you have to do some explanation, and I didn't get a video up before, so that's where that comes from. Turns 11 and 12, you want to go through there really quickly. I also need to mention that there are cut exceptions on this track at the exit of turn 4, which is in the first sector, and then on the exit of the corner we just went through, as I'm a bit too far off the apex here. This hasn't been the best lap so ever. I was aiming for a high 21 really in this Q2 session. So once again slow the car down for second gear, get it in there, turn in, one more quarter to go, bit of oversteer on the exit as I tried to get the power down, up in fourth gear, but not stable on the exit at all. DRS is wide open for the run to the line, that's for sure. Lap time is going to be a 122.3, and I was super disappointed with that. I really was disappointed with that. I really thought I could have done better. As you see, Nicodem Wisniewski from Poland and Electronic Racing Team taking pole position with a 121.8. Michele Alessandro, which is a newcomer, is behind me, but only by a tenth. And I have to say, I got really lucky there that I got second with a lap time that slow. I really, you know, I didn't have a smooth lap time there, a smooth lap. I was too far off the apexes. I already made a mistake in sector 1. I think I went too wide on the exit of turn 4. As I said, there's a cut exception over there. As we started the formation lap, I went too wide there. And then when you do that, you try to compensate for that in the remainder of your lap. And that is really something you don't really need to do, but you want to do it because you feel like you have to make up ground. But when you start doing that, you usually lose more time because you start to brake later and you do things which you haven't done before really, where you haven't practiced on. So sometimes you can also go over the limit there. So making a mistake really was key for my lap there. Well, it's not the positive key, obviously it's only negative as I lost time. And then in the final sector I was quite a few tenths down on myself, I'm pretty sure. It's a little bit of a bummer though, but well, it could be worse. As I said, I was so lucky with being second as we are running through the grid quickly. There are quite a few newcomers in this grid. We saw Wim Klopp actually as well. I think he started in 9th, which is funnily the brother of Rens Klopp. Rens Klopp, a driver who I still respect so much from the early days of my FSR career. And he obviously now promoted to the A series of the was the champion in Pro. If you wonder what my goals are for this season, I really wanted to get that first victory as soon as possible, and I felt I could do it here already. I was really confident on this track. You know, you might wonder, how do you get this confidence? Well, you compare yourself to your teammates, and I was able to match the pace pretty much of the World Championship drivers. Not in the high fuel stint, because in Pro you usually use around 130 liters of fuel. In the World Championship you use 200 plus liters of fuel, because they have longer race distances. So they were better than me, definitely on the 200 liters of fuel. But you know, during quali and even 130 liters of fuel, for example, I was able to match them, and I got really a lot of confidence for that. I even drove in World Championship. I end up having the identical lap time to the pole sitter. So I started second, and then I made a very stupid mistake in, I think it was lap 3 or something like that, because I just wasn't used to the heavy fuel load. I didn't really practice with it, which I should have done out of hindsight. But anyway, the first round of the season is going underway now. We have 4 lights already, 5 lights, and lights are out, and away we go. So lots of wheel spin off the line there for me. Look at that, quite a bit of oversteer. Nicodem had a good start, looks like, and I'm being well, overtaken here around my outside almost in the first corner. Need to leave this guy room, which is actually Michele Di Alessandro. As we go down this little straight now, heading down to turn 3, looking behind on Nicodem's car, now on my car. Luckily I'm ahead of Michele, and that seemed pretty good. We can see James Sadler in 4th position, another GhostSpeed driver, and I think James is being followed by Christoph Schoer, who's in 5th. Another GhostSpeed driver. Again, we see a beautiful shot here. Not too many crashes, I think, in the first couple of corners, although there was a crash at the back, I'm pretty sure, into the first corner. But not a great start by me there. I had lots of wheel spin off the line. We use launch control, but you can use traction control override. And launch control basically uses traction control. With the traction control override, the traction control gets, you know, you basically manually disable it. But I don't know whether it was the best choice there, because I had just too much wheel spin. And great start from Nicodem though. And before the race, I had so many comments really from people saying that you know, if there's another Kuba was obviously Polish as well. You know, if there's another Kuba, you know, I won't win. And that actually motivated me to only, you know, go faster and go quicker and try to show what I really got. As we look into the back of my car, lap 2 just started. Nicodem having about a 1 second gap there. I mean, you know, this guy is actually a friend of Kuba, I believe. He races for ACR, and he is well, he has shown that he is already such a quick driver. It is his first race, so in terms of experience, I have the upper hand, that's for sure. But I expect this guy to develop really quickly. He is that kind of driver, you know. He is that kind of, like Kuba. I think I really think you can compare him with Kuba. He's so quick and so supreme, and give him some time, and I think he could also, you know, be such a great driver even on the level at Kuba. But obviously it's his first race, and it's always quite a nervous race, your first race. You need to figure things out, discover things, and from there onwards you can build. But certainly he's got a good fundamental at the moment going on, because he started from pole position with a great lap time. I have to say that, obviously 21.8. He just beat me fair and square. And now it's up to me to show that I have got that race pace, you know, where I was practicing on, and have that consistency which I needed last year. So here we go then, you know, show is on. Show now what you have got. It looks like Nicodem on the contrary still has the upper hand on me. I think he extended the gap a little bit over the course of this lap too, but I knew that my tire wear was pretty good. As I said, I practiced so hard on this. Keep the tires conserved. Don't make unnecessary mistakes, keep it consistent. It's just so important, really. So I tried to not let him go. Definitely not. But at the same time, you know, it's only lap 3. I try to see what this Nicodem had in his driving ability or driving skill. And then from there onwards I could react. You know, if he makes a mistake, I can react. But as long as I don't fall too far back, you know, I can still react. So I need to make sure that this gap stays about 1 to 2 seconds. And as the first pit stop window opens, we'll see what his tire wear is like as well. And from there onwards, we might, you know, go a little bit more aggressive and attack him. But at the moment, I just wanted to wait for a second and look what really is going on with Nicodem. At the same time, keep the gap about 1 second. He goes a little bit wider. There's a cut exception though. In FSR, the rules are you need to stay within the white lines. The track is being defined by the white lines. But as you saw Nicodem doing there, the curbs are also part of the track. So what you saw Nicodem doing there again, he sticked with 2 wheels on the curb. That is legit. You can do that as long as you know, when there are no curbs, you need to stay within the white lines pretty much. And when there are curbs, you can go over the curbs and keep it within 2 wheels within the lines there, or even on the curb. Then, as we saw a back marker there going out of the way for me as I tried to pick up a little bit of slipstream from him. And Nicodem had a great lap, by the way. You see the replay of that, back mark in the way. And just as I wanted to go to the left to overtake him, he went to the left as well. So a little bit nerve-wracking, but definitely nothing too serious, that's for sure. So we hop back on board, lap 4 then. Let's see what Nicodem has got now. This is the time where the tires usually start to wear off, obviously depending how you drive and how you get along with them. Still a long race to go though, isn't it? Lap 4 out of 35. It's definitely still a long race to go. It looks like Nicodem losing a little bit of pace. We see D'Alessandro behind me here. About 1.5 seconds behind me, so I also need to keep an eye out behind, that's for sure. Slowing down for this corner. Nicely over the curb there, as I said. The curbs there are part of the track. That's the rules in FSR. We see Nicodem going on board with him. He has a little bit of understeer through the second apex. Again went off. And look at the gap. I immediately closed down to him. You know, that gap, well, suddenly shrinking there down that little straight. So we go through the final sector here. Visually the gap is a little bit closer. And as you can see, Nicodem is just, he seems to be pushing a little bit more, you know. He is going a little bit wider, using more of the track than I am currently. Where he goes all over the curb. I stay with you know, 2 wheels within the track limits, or within the track I should say, on the black stuff, and 2 wheels on the curb, whereas he goes all over the curb, you know, things like that. I saw that as well, and at the same time I saw as well the gap obviously shrinking. As you see me now having DRS, then DRS has been activated, lap 5 of the race then, and look at this, right behind Nicodem, even now braking him in the dirty air. Now up to turn 4, nailing the curb there. Need to be careful with dirty air as well. Dirty air has been reduced for this season dramatically, so it's easier to follow another car when you are in that dirty air. And again now braking him for this corner, really on his tail now. On lap 5 is this Nicodem already starting to feel the tire wear. The pit window is open in about lap 10-ish if you want to go for a 2-stop. Going over the curb there, get hard on the power. Now in this Nicodem slipstream, here we go picking up the slipstream then. Down this little straight, coming closer, not close enough to do an overtake at the moment. And oh, what happened there? Nicodem suddenly in the wall. And you hear a big bang. Did I make contact? Lap 5 of the race. Nicodem is probably out of the race. We're gonna have to look at that in the replay. My point of view. Weird, isn't it? A very weird incident. We have a look at it again from the outside camera, and it looks like I give Nicodem a push or something like that. That's what it looks from the outside. But look at the slow motion here. Nothing happens. Suddenly the brakes of Nicodem go on there. You see him, you see skid marks on the track from the tire, and then we make contact. And Nicodem just flipping over there. And his car was completely wrecked. Surely Nicodem is out of this game. But do we have any damage from that sustained? Here we go, looking at the car. I don't see any front wing end plates missing or anything like that. But what a super weird incident. And obviously I'm gonna have to give some explanation for that. Anyway, first of all, damage on our car. Is there any damage? Yes, there was. I can tell you there was some damage. I think there was slight suspension damage. You can see me here wiggling the wheel a little bit, try to get a feel whether there is something wrong. But there wasn't really, too many things wrong. My tire, or my wheel rather, started vibrating quite a bit, quite heavily down the main straights. But that was really it. I think there was some suspension damage too, and I might have noticed slight understeer. But if I had damage, it would only cost me a tenth of a lap. That's it, really, if not less. So not a lot at all. As you can see though, Michele D'Alessandro, as I tried to get the feel for the car back, has closed me down, because after that incident I completely lost concentration. I had no idea what was going on there. And I have to say, at this time I felt really guilty. And I'll explain to you soon why. But first of all, coming back to that incident, I can confirm with hindsight that it was a lag incident. You saw, it looked like Nicodem was going on the brakes, didn't it? Because it almost looked like his tires locked up. You saw smoke, you saw skid marks from the tire on the track. And then out of nowhere he was really in the wall. And even I got a pretty big hit. How I didn't have any more damage from that is just a miracle, really. Excuse me. There's a car exiting the pit lane right now, opening up lap 9 here. So yes, it really was a super weird incident, it has to be said. But it was lag related. And at the end of the race I immediately went into the replay cameras and tried to see whether that was my fault. I said to you before, I felt really guilty. And the incident was so weird, I had no idea what happened. I didn't really think of lag. At this time I was like, what have I done? And corner after corner after corner, I couldn't get this mindset out of my head. I was the whole time like, what happened? I just couldn't figure it out. I even thought, at this time, I thought I was alongside Nicodem. That's how bad my memory, I guess, is while racing. I thought I was alongside Nicodem. So like, at this point right now, I was alongside him with my front wheel alongside his rear wheel, and then I slotted back behind him. And I thought he braked for the corner, and then I did not see the braking marker or something like that, and I just hit him while he was on the brakes. Like, those crazy silly stories went all in my head, and I was like, oh, what have I done? And I also thought, I'm in first place right now, this is looking good, because we have got quite a good gap actually to the cars behind us. We make our pit stop lap 10 of the race that is scheduled, so the tire wear isn't too bad. Going into the pit lane right now, activating pit limiter. Let's see if everything goes right actually. Let's interrupt that story, come back to the later, because we have seen some dramatic incidents from me in the pit lane in the previous season. Does it go right now though? Yes, it does go right. We entered the pit lane and we exited, and look behind, there's another GhostSpeed car coming. Look at that timing. Gets right into the box, doesn't get held up. Let's see whether he comes out in front of his opponent. He does just about, I think. Yes, he does indeed. So that's very good for GhostSpeed then, and I rejoin the track in front of some guys who are yet to stop. Lap 11 though, everything is looking good, that's for sure. I don't know whether I'm still in the lead. I doubt it, because I think there are some guys still out on track who haven't pitted yet. Coming back to the story though, I did not want to win this way at this stage. And don't get me wrong, that was my mindset at that point, because now I know that it was not my fault. I really, as we see Alari here, Algipius, very weird name, no idea how to pronounce it. He was still out on track, not having made a pit stop, but I can tell you actually, out of hindsight, after the race I immediately contacted Nicodem, and I actually felt the need to apologize. That's really how bad I felt about that. I really thought it was my fault, and I have no idea why, because it wasn't. And Nicodem also said, it was lag, and it was very unfortunate. But yeah, at the same time, I don't know what the stewards are going to do, because what could I have done? Obviously nothing. And I don't know whether the stewards will even treat it as a racing as an incident. I doubt they will, but we'll see. We'll see about that. As we skip to lap 18, so quite a way ahead, and currently coming up to a few back marks. It looks like it. There's a little bit of debris on off the track as well. A few crashes maybe here and there. But I think that's it for Nicodem. I mean, yeah, I don't have a lot more to tell. But the whole race, I couldn't get that incident out of my head. I was like, come on, concentrate. You're in the lead. you've got this one right now under control, and if you don't, you know, concentrate, it might, you know, it might spin, make a mistake or whatever. I've done it before, and I don't want to do that again. So we are lapping some back markers over here, but I honestly I just couldn't get it out of my head. And then at the end of the race, I realized, you know, what was I doing the whole race? Why was I so busy thinking about it? Because there was no need to do that. It happened at that stage, and I shouldn't have thought about it all the time, but I still did, because I didn't want to win that way. But obviously, I now know that nothing I could have done. As we see James Settler there, I think James is currently running his second place, a person or a driver, as we see Christoph there. So it's GhostSpeed 1, 2, 3 at the moment. This is looking amazing for GhostSpeed. That confirms that we have done our homework over the course of the winter. We really have been practicing as a team. I've been doing a lot of hot lapping, a lot of, you know, sharing setup, a lot of race stints, stuff like that. We really have worked together, and this weekend was actually really good for us in terms of race pace. The results were not there, but the race pace itself, I would say, was good. Not only the race pace, qualifying pace was also decent, and that shows that we have made progress, that's for sure. Anyway, coming to lap 21 right now, I think. Here we go, down the main straight, still leading. Obviously still, you know, I just had it still in my head. It's for sure. I just was not happy. I was not happy that I was leading, because I really thought I crashed him out, but I didn't. And I didn't do that at this stage, as we see the back marker of the track there. That is actually Ben Eastman who spun the entry of turn 3. Pretty much on the middle of turn 3 he was spun there, but I assume the spin started in the entry of turn 3. But anyway, enough about the Nicodem, you know. Let's concentrate as a commentator right now as well, myself. I need to concentrate on this race a little bit more. Otherwise you guys might think, you know, he's talking about the same subject the whole time, which is indeed the case. So I should stop doing that. Currently behind some back markers. Second pit window is open about now. We have done 10 laps on the super soft in the beginning, and we are still on the super soft. About 10 laps again would be the second pit window, and then you switch to the medium. So it's quite a big drop here in terms of tire comp. And someone went off! Whoa, that's a big hit with the wall. Just went off there, and I can actually tell, if you go off there, you get in the gravel, and that's it. You know, you get in the gravel, that's it. You go straight on, hit the wall there. That's exactly what happened to him. I don't actually know his name, but it was a very unfortunate incident for him, obviously. So 10 laps on the first super soft stint in the first stint. Second stint, 11 laps on the super soft. Now coming into the pit lane for what should be our final pit stop, activating pit limiter. There we go. No penalties whatsoever there. Activated it nicely within time, really. 15 laps to go then on the medium tire. Let's see whether I switch to the medium tire. Yes, I do indeed. So no pit drama here. And there we go, exiting the pit lane then. Switch off the pit limiter. There we go, lap 22. Let's see where I rejoin. Quite a bit of clean air, isn't there? Very, very good. So quite a big drop in terms of tires here. You go from the super soft to the medium, and the medium tire really is something quite different to the super soft. Let's see James Settler there. That's about an 8-second gap to James Settler, so very good. And Christoph there in third place as well. So still GhostSpeed 1, 2, 3, not bad at all. It's going very, very good for us, but still 13 laps to go. And in 13 laps a lot of things can happen. So keep it cool, keep it under control. As we see Christoph here, I believe. This is James, that is me. Coming again up to a few back markers. That actually in front is again Ben Eastman, who spun before, but is on his route again. But yeah, surely Nicodem looks like a seriously quick guy. Maybe around the pace of Kuba. You know, Kuba was also really, really quick, also a Polish driver, as said before. But I am certain that I have improved myself as well. So, you know, come on, I am not afraid. I really feel very, very confident as we are right on the back of Ben Eastman. They're almost hitting Ben Eastman as he well, went a little bit slowish on the apex there. I don't blame him. Turn 13, I think. Replay here. Just had to go on the brakes a little bit. If you slam too much on the brakes there, you lock up by the way in spins. So quite a heart attack moment. Let's put it like that. Nothing too serious though. Coming down the straight here. And once again opening up another lap. Lap 23 in this case. Medium tire still going. You can do like 20 plus laps on the medium tire really. They aren't that big of of a tire degrader, if you could call it like that. But they are quite a bit slower, like 8, 7 tenths a lap. And I personally did not feel comfortable at all. As we see Christoph there in second. Where's James? Has James made a pit stop? Has James had an accident? There's the answer! James has had an accident. As you see him driving without a front wing. And he got extremely unlucky, I can tell you that. On the exit of the final corner he spun. Then he has to do a complete lap without a front wing. And he probably also has some kind of damage. So James Sadler's race is not really over, but a podium position will be very, very hard for him, I'm pretty sure. And skipping already to the final lap of the race, nothing happened. I just managed to keep it under control on the mediums. Obviously keep on racing, that's for sure. And then the final lap to go. And the gap from Christoph Schoer in this stint, who is now then second, went from 8 seconds, or 10, something like that, to 20 seconds. So the gap to the next car, which is the car behind us, is 20 seconds then. And obviously you wonder, what if Nikodem would still be in this race? Yeah, I always say that ifs are stupid. If I had, how could I formulate this? Like if I had cheats, I would be driving at the front and lapping everyone. At the same time, I would be banned from FSR, but you get what I mean, you get my point. I think that if statements are usually quite stupid. Nikodem is just not in the race, that is the way it is, but I'm sure that Nikodem and I could have had quite a good battle coming through the final sector now though. I was taking home that first victory, but it did not feel like a victory. I just didn't want to win this way. At that stage, I would have rather had a clean and fair battle with Nikodem and beat him in fair and square than something like this. But anyway, it's the way it is. Coming through the final corner right now, there's a backmarker flaw, so we actually get the DRS off him as well. Coming through the main straight now and over the start-finish line to take home that first victory in FSR for me. A victory I have been fighting for really, really hard, not only last season but as well over the winter then. And we see then Christoph there is second, coming home in second. He goes actually to the inside, and why does he do that? Why does he do that? Christoph Schoer loses his second place. We see a replay here, listen. Dramatic scenes for Christoph Schoer as he ran out of fuel. Literally the last 100 meters before the finish line of 400 meters, something like that. It's just extremely unlucky. He lost 2 places there, but one of them was a back marker, so Christoph still manages to finish up on the podium. And James eventually finished in 5th, which is not bad at all, considering he had that incident. But here you see me hit them, and I was not happy. As I said before, I was not happy. I felt guilty. But then at the end of the race, I immediately looked at the replay, and I felt like, wait, I did nothing wrong there. And I punched myself, pretty much. No, obviously not, but yeah, I was like, wait, why did you think about it so much during the whole race when nothing really happened? But yeah, it also is just such a weird incident that as a driver, you pretty much inevitably start thinking that. Anyway, that first victory then, I've been looking for it in the last season, and now in the first race of the next season, so 2015, I finally get it. And at the time, as I said, I was not happy with it, but at the moment, yeah, I am pretty happy with it. But now that I have this win, it also tastes, we say in my country, it tastes like I want more. I don't know whether there's some kind of saying like that in English language as well. Where you see the results on the right hand side of the screen. 21.6 seconds in the end to Sander Callas, who then took Christoph Schoer. And well, quite an entertaining race. The first couple of laps were really, really good, I think. I also think it could have been a really, really good battle with Nikodem, although I think Nikodem had a little bit more downforce than I had, so I had better straight line speed, which may have been really good for a battle. But anyway, he crashed, and it is the way it is, and I'm sure he won't be happy with it, but I'm sure as well that he will be back next week for Malaysia and fight really, really hard there. I don't like Malaysia as much as Australia, but that's not an excuse. I'm gonna have to practice again, do the best I can, and then hopefully I'll be there next week as well, and hopefully at the same place where I finished this time, although it will probably be slightly harder if Nikodem managed to keep in the race as well. Look forward to a battle. But now with this 50 points, you get 50 points for a win, 40 for second place, 30 for third. You know, you are the championship leader now after one race, but such a long season still to go. But with this race victory, it does give a little bit of confidence. But you know, you need to keep performing right now as well. You can't stop here. So that's pretty much it for this first race. Quite an eventful race. And then after the crash with Nikodem, not a lot of things happened obviously. You need to still stay awake though, of course. It's very easy to have a 20-second gap and then fall asleep and make a silly mistake, and you lose all of that 20-second gap, or even worse. But anyway, taking home that first win then, and that is quite good for us then obviously. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, I would appreciate a like, and I hope to see you next week in Malaysia. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.